Welcome to today's Virtual Market Open, where we celebrate the latest issuer to join the Canadian Securities Exchange. Join us as we count down to the market open and stay to learn more about the latest listing on the exchange for entrepreneurs. Together, we'll count down to the market open, and this will be followed by an interview with a company executive.
Way to go. All good. Well done.
Congratulations on being newly listed on the CSE. Can you tell the good people what Blockchain Venture Inc. does?
Well, first of all, Barry, I want to thank you very much. We're really proud to be launching on the CSE. It's been a long road, as you know, and sometimes you feel like you're just never going to get to this day, but we are here. So I'm really proud to be finally talking to you. Blockchain Venture Capital Inc. So this is actually a company really like no other. When Richard, our CEO, first approached me to join the board, and I heard blockchain and then digital currency, and I just thought, there's so much clutter out there. I really wanted to see something unique, and this company is truly unique in this marketplace. So we have three pillars. One is the core piece, which is the blockchain itself. The second piece is our digital token, our stable coin. And the third piece is our digital wallet. Now, when you hear about blockchain companies out there, you hear about crypto and stable coin. If you really look under the hood, they're all mostly running on Ethereum. Ethereum, there's a sort of a terminology called TPS, which is transactions per second. Ethereum, in its current state, runs at a very slow TPS, which makes it unusable as a global mechanism for transactions. When you're doing a transaction, you don't want to be sitting there waiting for half an hour for the transaction to go through. If you have tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of people using the blockchain, you need a very fast TPS. Our proprietary blockchain, it's a private blockchain, runs at 5,000 transactions per second. The other thing is, in order to meet all of the stringent regulations that we have had to meet, in order to be usable as a trading currency, it had to be a private blockchain, because otherwise you can't lock down the security. Ethereum is a public blockchain. The second piece, which is our token called CADT, Canadian Dollar Token. Now, many people have been hearing about crypto, different tokens, different stable coins out there. None of them have what we have. What makes ours so unique and so special is that our token is backed one-to-one in a custodial account with a Schedule 1 bank. It's a Canadian institution, one-to-one. So for every token out there, there's always going to be one Canadian dollar to back it up. Quite frankly, even your bank deposits aren't backed one-to-one. The banks are mortgaging your deposits, they're loaning them. Pretty much every other stable coin out there is at most backed 60% by fiat currency. The rest is going to be maybe precious metals, maybe, and a whole host of other assets. So the problem with that is when everybody rushes to cash in their tokens, there's usually not enough cash to back it up. With CADT, guaranteed you will always have enough. There will be enough fiat currency to back up every token. It's in our agreement that the bank that holds those tokens can do nothing with that cash. They can't lend it out. They can't do anything. So it's a very, very safe method of storing currency, storing value, transmitting value, etc. The third piece of our business, which is our proprietary digital wallet. So this digital wallet is how you will conduct transactions, trade fiat currency for our token. If I was to send you tokens, that we would use that digital wallet. Now, what makes this wallet unique is that it works on a QR code system. It's very interesting because in Asia, companies have been using QR codes to transmit value for years and years. We only just started doing it. The banks don't even do it. PayPal now has a QR code. If you want, you can, scan their QR code and transmit money that way. But really, the first time North Americans saw this was when WeChat Pay and Alipay came to North America. You'd go to a Chinese restaurant, you'd see a little QR code that says pay with WeChat Pay or Alipay. And a lot of people, even to this day, ask questions like, how does that work? So the beauty of BVC Pay is if I'm with you and I need to pay you back, you just show me your QR code, I scan it, boom, the money's gone. It is instantaneous, okay? When I transfer tokens to you, it happens literally before you can say 1 second. So that's the difference between us and Interact, for example. And the transaction is completely free of charge. The only time you're ever paying a fee is when you're jumping into the system, when I buy CADT, and when I cash CADT back to Canadian dollar tokens. But certainly for companies that are within our ecosystem that accept CADT for payment, for example, you are literally doing those transactions for free, and it's free for the merchant as well. But if the merchant wanted to convert those tokens back to fiat currency, they're paying a very small percentage, which is much smaller than Visa and certainly smaller than companies like PayPal, Venmo, and all those other methods.
Man, Justin, that is a fantastic explanation, and I love the tech behind it, and I love the instantaneousness of it. That's wonderful. That's what blockchain is supposed to do. That's what. Correct.
Oh, and the other thing, Gary.
Easier. Yeah,
the other thing, Gary, is how many times have we been in a drive-through lineup at Tim Hortons or McDonald's, and they say, "Sorry, our system's down. We only accept cash."
Yes.
Nobody has cash. They have to drive out, and they've waited all that time for nothing. BVC Pay, which is our payment system, called BVC Pay. It works even without power. So if the power is down at your store, you just show us the QR code, or you might even have just a printout. We scan it. As soon as your system is back online, the blockchain ledger updates itself and everything's done. But you can actually still do the transaction.
That's very appropriate timing, considering we just had a massive Rogers outage.
Right.
And I did go to Tim Hortons. What you described exactly happened. Went to Tim Hortons, Interact is down. I had like 50 cents in the car, and I'm like, I'm out. So
in the days of COVID, nobody really wants to carry cash anymore. And so we want people to think of CADT as digital cash.
Oh, no, that's great. Now every good company has people behind it. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about the people behind the name Blockchain Venture Capital Inc.
Sure. So our visionary is Richard Zhou. He's a very dear, longtime friend of mine. And his first vision, first of all, I have to talk a little bit about Internet of Things. So IoT, which many of us use now, you can unlock your phone, check your Ring doorbell, and see who dropped the package off at home. That's all Internet of Things. That's where all your devices on the internet now are sort of within that ecosystem where you as a human communicate. So it's taking the internet and basically interfacing with the real world. So now your alarm system, your video camera, all of these things are now on the internet, but they're also in the real world. In order to do that, in order to communicate, quickly with the doorbell, even smart office buildings, turning off the fire alarm and this and that, you need a system that is very secure and very fast. Our blockchain was originally designed for IoT, actually. So if you know something about IoT, you will know that any blockchain that is approved for IoT has to meet extremely stringent technological conditions and all sorts of, conditions that make it infallible. You don't want to have a smart building and somebody can hack into it and, unlock all the doors in the middle of the night, for example. So our blockchain was born out of IoT, which makes it so quick because, if you're turning on and off locks and things like that, you need speed. That's the backbone. And Richard saw that this was going to be the future. You need to have a secure proprietary blockchain. If you're going to be dealing with value, this is people's money. It needs to be secure. An open blockchain like Ethereum it's open source. Anybody can tweak it. So it's not secure enough. So when he took that vision and said, he basically looked at all the good things of blockchain and crypto and then said, let's do all the good things, but fix all the weaknesses. So security, speed, the fact that values were fluctuating, all of that. He looked at it and said, let's lock this down. So Richard is really our guy. Compliance. This whole business has been about compliance. Even, interfacing with you guys at the CSE, you wanted to make sure that, everything was on the up and up. Otherwise, you're not going to list us. Compliance has been a major thing. So, the legal team behind us, certainly our lawyers, Ming Young, who is our compliance officer, he goes by the T. I mean, he's the most buttoned down guy you will ever meet, over to the point of being annoying. Yes. He never writes an email that's less than 4 or 5 paragraphs long, which is annoying, but damn, this is the kind of guy you want when you're running this type of business. Then, of course, we've got our marketing people, like our internal marketing people like Lucy Bao, Ark Chu. They handle sort of the day-to-day, making sure that things like collateral, that we're at the right trade shows and things like that. And then we've got, of course, our board of directors. Our board is it's a small board, but it's a tight board. It's made up of people who have legal backgrounds, accounting, anti-money laundering backgrounds, and myself with a 30-year history of marketing and advertising. And so we each bring a different skill set to the table. Primarily, we are a governance board right now. Some of us have had to roll up our sleeves, like myself, and really get into helping to execute some of these things. But it's like that with any, tech startup company, as you know. Yeah.
Well, lastly, what are some of the milestones that Blockchain Ventures is looking to hit? Stuff that you're able to talk about, either in the next 6 to 12 months, even maybe further on, 18 months out.
So if we look at the history of the company, the initial milestones that we had to meet were approvals. It was all about approvals. I mean, the first big milestone was getting a bank that was actually willing to go out on a limb and say, yes, we will start a custodial account and back your digital tokens one-to-one with fiat currency. First of all the large financial institutions were unwilling and unable. We found a smaller trust company, Concentric Trust, which was willing to do this because they needed to innovate. They need to show, they're smaller, they're nimbler. They need to show that they're innovative. They invested a lot of money to upgrade their systems in order to be able to do what they're doing for us. That was, I would say, was our first big milestone, because for us to be able to say our stablecoin is backed one-to-one with fiat currency, that's huge. That's one of our strongest value propositions even to this day. Then after that, every one of those legal and compliance hoops that we jumped not only increased our tangible valuation, but also made it so that we could get to where we are today, ready to do business. We have a system now that is mature from a technological standpoint. It's been stress tested. It's fully scalable. So now we're ready to do business. So our first big milestone, and which actually we're now in the process of executing, was inking the deal with the Trillium Automobile Dealers Association, which is the association that every new car dealer in Ontario belongs to. They are actually, they may as well be called the Canadian Auto Dealers Association, because they actually are the largest. They lead the country in terms of legislation and how auto dealers are run and things like that. Over 1,100 dealerships belong to this association. They're the association that actually puts on the Canadian International Auto Show, which is not only the largest car show in Canada, but it is the largest consumer show, period, in Canada. Over 370,000 people go through the doors in a 10-day period. It's a big show for Canada. That was a huge milestone, because now our ability on all our marketing material to say we are the official exclusive digital payment system of the TADA. That's huge, obviously, because now we are talking to all the car dealers about accepting CAD-T, and some of them obviously do now, but we're in a big push to get them to accept CAD-T for everything from paying for oil changes, putting deposits on cars, everything you would do with a credit card, except you're going to pay, a dealer's going to pay a lot less in service fees. Now, the next big piece of our business is, how do we get a lot of CAD-T in circulation? How do we get it out there? Because for us to go, it's sort of a bit of a chicken and egg thing, Barrington. For us to go to a large national chain and say, hey, would you accept BVC Pay? The first question they're going to say is, well, how many people actually hold CAD-T? So our job now is to get a lot of CAD-T into circulation. And how we do that is we're looking for the big businesses, automotive, the housing market. Right now we're in talks with a number of developers to actually sell their project using CAD-T. Now, if you look at a project that's worth $300 million, if we sell all those condos or homes using CAD-T, now we've got hundreds of millions of dollars of CAD-T in circulation. So right now we're in very close talks. We should be ready to announce something very soon to sell entire projects or portions of projects in CAD-T. Now, a very important piece of this puzzle. During our bell ringing ceremony, we had a gentleman named Tony, who is the head of KVB Global here in Canada. KVB is the largest, most reputable currency exchange firm based out of Hong Kong. The reason why we are partnered with KVB is because KVB has an extreme database of customers that want to convert currency in Asia into Canadian dollars. So now, if you have are a wealthy individual or corporation in China, for example, Hong Kong, whatever, you would go to KVB and you would give them your currency, your hard currency, and that will then show up as CAD-T in your digital wallet. Now, and it will never hit a bank. And then you can take that token and convert it and trade it with the developer for a condo. So now you can sort of see how that all works. And you are doing that completely bypassing the banking system, the traditional banking system.
Yes, I do understand that.
Yeah.
No, that's amazing, Justin. Listen, on behalf of the Canadian Securities Exchange, on behalf of myself, I just want to say thank you. Thank you to your wonderful team. And of course, to the company, BVCI Trading at on the Canadian Securities Exchange. For our audience, if you want to learn a little bit more about the Internet of Things, I hear that there's a good show called Tech Tuesday that earlier this year talked about the Internet of Things. Check it out on CSC TV on YouTube. All right, that's my own plug. But listen, thank you so much for this.
Thank you,
We look forward to a long, healthy, fruitful listing from BVCI. And our audience, if you like this and more content, check us out on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. I've been your host, Barrington Miller. Today I was here with Justin Poy, founding board member of BVCI Trading on the CSE. Don't forget to watch their market open. Thank you.
Thank you.